cultured land famous for its rolling hills and fantastic cuisine. Okay, maybe infamous would be a better word for the latter part. But what is the most beautiful part of this green and pleasant land? Is it the gorgeous Gloucestershire with the Cotswolds and Forest of Dean? Or is it the captivating Cumbria with the stunning Lake District? No. Out of the 48 counties of England, there's one which in my opinion stands above them as England's most beautiful region, and it's right here. This place right here on this rather steep hill is the town of Matlock in rural Derbyshire. Now I've come here today because we're heading up to the town of Buxton. The plan for today is this: heading northwest from Matlock into the beautiful Peak District National Park and heading through the winding country roads to our final destination in Buxton, near the border with Cheshire. I want to show off to you that the rural England that you think of from like postcards or whatever, it still exists here. Now the town of Matlock is not particularly interesting in itself. It's got a population of about 10,000 people. It's just your classic sleepy English town. We got very lucky with the weather today. It's incredibly sunny, but this morning it was foggy, so hopefully the sun stays around and I get to show you Derbyshire with this wonderful weather. Now where would you imagine that the county of Derbyshire has its headquarters? Probably in the city of Derby, but no, Derbyshire County Council has its headquarters here in Matlock, because Derby is its own separate thing politically. Up here you have the Union flag and the Ukrainian flag. Honestly, the architecture in this town is just exactly the type of thing that I love to see. Now actually, I used to occasionally come here to work, and that was as a fishmonger, but because of that, this was actually the town which I would consider moving to if I came back to the UK. Just because I always dreamt of having a house down here, but obviously I don't make enough for that. Now, whilst Matlock is a very nice part of the country, the actual more famous part, which I want to show you a bit more of, is a place called Matlock Bath. Now, they're not the same place. This is more where people live, whereas Matlock Bath is more for tourists, which I think could be more interesting for this video. This here is the River Derwent, and apparently in 1965 it was flooded all the way up to here. Can you imagine that? But apparently in 1960 it flooded up to here. It seems the 60s were quite a hard time for floods in Derbyshire. So if you need the toilet in this park, it's 20p, but something happened which shows off something about this type of area here in England. There's this old man also trying to get in there, and he just offered to pay the 20p for me. 20p is not a lot, but still, the fact that people here are more open to help out others, I just think it's something which makes these type of places unique. Oh, and by the way, it didn't accept his 20 pence, so I paid with my card for him, because I'm just returning the favour. Here we've got the sign to Matlock Bath. I know we should be able to walk there because I saw quite a strange video. It was a video of a Chinese girl, at least I think she's Chinese, travelling to Matlock and Matlock Bath, and she walked all the way. It's not actually something that you expect at all if you're living in Derbyshire. I never personally thought it was somewhere where many tourists would come to, apart from maybe English tourists, but I felt like just making you aware of that video. Right here is just a little nook that I was not aware of. Oh, look how cool this place is. Got a Dalek here with a rainbow flag, well, rainbow coloured thing here. I didn't expect to just randomly come across a little place like this. Right now I'm just trying to work out how to actually get to Matlock Bath from here. So we're here in Matlock. I've got to go all the way down here, but I know you can walk between them, just I don't know whether this Dale Road is one that's open for pedestrians. I know I'm supposed to be your guide, but I'm also just working out what I'm supposed to do myself. Every Sunday in summer in Matlock Bath, a bunch of bikers meet up. At least I think it's every Sunday. Just trying not to die here. I just think that's kind of interesting. There's just many little unique things going on here. Excuse me, Duck, is it possible to walk to Matlock Bath from here?
Yes,
Yeah.
keep following this road and you'll come to it.
All right, thank you very much. Very friendly people here as well. If you've never been to England before, you might be unaware that each region has its own very unique dialect. So you might be wondering, why did I call that woman a duck? Well, it's because that comes from the old word here, dukas, which means duke. So in this area around Derbyshire and I think Nottinghamshire as well, you can say duck or me duck as a kind of term of endearment. Another part of the Derbyshire dialect is the greeting "ayup." It's just a simple greeting like hello. So quite often, with especially the older generations, because unfortunately these dialects are dying out a bit, you will hear quite often the phrase "ayup me duck," "ayup me duck curie." Do you think you've packed enough, mate?
Yeah.
So around here you got some of these little walking paths, the hiking trails. And this area of England is absolutely full of these places. Because we're just about to enter the Peak District National Park, we're going to be seeing a lot more walking in this video and a lot more hills like this one here. I better get used to it now because otherwise I might die in this video. I really need to become fitter. So there is apparently a war memorial up here, but there should be some more coming up in this video anyway. I like to show off these memorials if you're new to the channel. Just if I'm honest, I cannot be bothered to walk up there to see it. You're right. Morning. So here we have the sign for Matlock Bath. Even though the sign is here, from my understanding the actual walk itself is a little bit further. We have 1897, Venetian Nights, 1997. I don't know what it means with Venetian Nights, but I think 1897 was Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee? Or maybe I'm completely wrong with that. Please tell me in the comments what it means with Venetian Nights though. I really have no idea. A major problem with travelling England is that this morning it was freezing and extremely foggy, but now the sun is blaring and I'm boiling in this. I prefer the Russian winter over all this madness. So here the bus stop says Matlock Bath, Dale Road, the Cables. Now you might be wondering, the Cables? What are they on about? Do you see them up there? Those go up to a place called the Heights of Abraham, which is apparently a very, very beautiful place. Although, I don't actually know if those cables work because it's not peak season. I'm doing this right at the beginning of spring. And they don't appear to be moving either, so we'll go and have a look. If they're working, we might go on them. But if not, we might actually find a path up to the Heights of Abraham. If there is one, I'm not even sure. I did read online that it's basically only by the cable car that you can get there. So I think these steps should lead down to the river. We'll go and have a look. I'm obviously not going to get in because look at the current on that. But I at least want to go down a little bit, have a look at these really, really high steps for some reason. Isn't that beautiful? Look how high these steps are. It might not look much, but when you're walking up them, stairs can only really be a slight difference in size compared to what you're used to, because otherwise it just ends up really uncomfortable to walk up and down them. So no wonder that seems so dangerous. You get some beautiful views though. So the line for the cable cars is right above us right now, and it goes sort of over there. None of them are moving. I'm not even sure how we can get down there to even attempt to get on them. So I don't know if the cable cars are working, but I think we've found where we're looking for. The Heights of Abraham. Let's hope we can get to those heights. I'm scared of heights, if you don't already know. Morning. Ah. I think I might not be able to take the cable cars. It looks like they're doing some kind of work on them. In that video I mentioned earlier of that Chinese girl, she also wanted to get on these, but they weren't working either. Does anything in England ever work? So there's another walking spot here called Pic Tor. I think I might want to at least try this, see whether I can get some good views from here. It's not the Heights of Abraham, but should be alright. If I can survive the walk, that is. I am incredibly unfit. Which way do we go? I'm going to go that way. So I just walked down this harder path here. And it turns out that they're both part of the same path. Why did I do that? That was so much harder than this. Look at that. That's a nice little incline through here though. Absolutely mental. Just my luck. If I can reach the top of this, then I have definitely earned myself a Bakewell tart or Bakewell pudding or whatever. I don't know which way I'm supposed to go now. I'll just go down this way. Can't be any harder than what I've already done. I've currently been fast hiking through some of the steepest paths I've ever been on in my life. But this view looks like it's going to be beautiful when I get to the top. I'm trying to do it as quick as possible because there's so many places in Derbyshire that I want to take you lot to. I just can't have to rush through this, even if it kills me in the process. Oh, what is this? Some kind of ledge. Sheer drop, keep well back from the ledge, from the edge. Can't even read English anymore. Whoa. Ha ha ha. Look at this view here. I know we're near the top, but that feels worth it. Oh my goodness. I'm absolutely petrified of heights, so I don't want to go anywhere near the edge. But oh my God, is this beautiful. Oh, I made a friend. Hey up. Hey up, Yuri. It's very friendly. I like the people here. I like the views. This is the England that I miss. So a lot of people want to visit places like London, Liverpool, but this is where I think you should visit if you do get the chance to come to England. Over there you've got a very commercialised view of what England is, whereas in my opinion this is the real England. These small towns in the middle of the countryside, friendly people, nice food, amazing views. What isn't there to love? Вот слад смотри, блин. Очень высокий, но, конечно, очень красивый. As you can see, I'm not going to get too close to the edge, but I want to have a nice sit down and just enjoy the view that I've given myself here. So I'm going to have a break here and have a drink of Buxton water. It's not an advert, but we're heading to Buxton, so why not have some Buxton water with a beautiful view of the Derbyshire Dales. I just sent a video to my wife and she's saying, don't get too close, I hope you're safe. We're safe here. I'm absolutely terrified of slipping though. So I'm going to crawl like a child. Kneeling down on the rocks here. It's so painful. I think I might have ruined my jeans, but for the view, why not? We've wasted a bit too much time at that spot, because it's already midday, well almost midday, and I have Matlock Bath and another town to go to before we even reach our final destination. Will this have to be a 2-day journey? I hope not. Hotels up here are expensive. There are a lot of friendly hikers up here. Now obviously I'm not going to show all of them on camera, because shoving a camera in someone's face is not exactly the politest way of greeting them. But if you do ever get the chance to come for a hike in England, if you're, for example, the almost 50% Russian viewership that I have, then talk to the people. If you speak English, just have a chat with them. I know English people in Russia have a stereotype of being very serious, but people aren't serious here. Everyone up here is just trying to have a bit of fun. Have a look at some good views, talk to some people. So just join in with them. Strike up a chat, ask them what good routes there are, and you're destined to have a good time if you do that. Bring water with you though. We've made it down. Onwards to Matlock Bath. Over here we've reached the Midland Pub, which means we've finally reached Matlock Bath. Over here, tourist information, there's a mining museum in this town, or in this village. See, I would take you in the Midland Pub, but I think it might be closed. Make a wish for good causes. The bike as well. And over here is the war memorial that I mentioned earlier on in the video. So let's have a look at this one, because this one's very detailed, I think. It's one of the more beautiful ones in this area, with the sun behind it. Now, if you're not from the UK or the Commonwealth, poppies are a sign of remembrance for people who fell in the world wars, but also just in general in war. Now, unlike most of the memorials that I do in my videos, as they're mostly based in the former Soviet Union, the ones in the UK are mostly, originally for the First World War. Obviously they commemorate the dead from the Second World War, but it's just a small difference. The First World War did have more of an impact on villages like this than the Second World War did, for the most part.
The main reason the First World War affected these communities was the Pals battalions. This was a recruitment tactic where men would enlist together with the promise that they would be able to serve alongside their friends, neighbours and colleagues, rather than being randomly allocated to battalions. Heavy casualties during battles such as the Battle of the Somme devastated local communities throughout the country, as almost the entire male population could be wiped out in a single offensive.
Despite Derbyshire being about as far from the sea as you can get in England, Matlock Bath is famous for its seaside feel. So that's essentially what it became a famous resort for, a famous resort town. So this area here is called Lovers Walks. It's a nice little place where you can get a nice view of Matlock Bath and walk with the person you love. Unfortunately, my wife couldn't come with me back to England, but that's a story for another day.
For any of you who are new to the channel, I actually live in Russia. My wife is a Russian citizen and we planned to do this trip together to see my family, but her visa was refused so she couldn't join me. Most of the videos on this channel are about my life and travels in Russia, so if you're interested then you should subscribe and hit the bell button. And if you're enjoying this video then don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Tell me your thoughts about Derbyshire, I'd be really curious to know your opinions, whether you've been here or not. And if you really like this video then you can leave a super thanks. The microphone I'm using right now was paid for by these donations, so it really helps out the channel more than you could ever imagine. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
See, they've got an aquarium, an exhibition place. £6.50. What a bargain. If I had time, I probably would have gone, but we have things to do, places to be, people to meet. So there's a sign here saying that it was closed today. No wonder the cable cars weren't working, but it seems it's never bloody open. Matlock Bath is a place I used to come to a lot as a child growing up in Derbyshire. And so coming here as an adult many, many years later, it feels incredibly nostalgic. It was kind of like being able to go to the seaside without having to go all the way to the sea. You get the river instead of the ocean. After that walk, I'm bloody starving. So, as there's plenty of fish and chips places, how about we go and get ourselves some so I can show you what real English fish and chips looks like.
Yes, please.
Oh yeah, could I get a regular chips and some cod, please?
Harry, can I have a cod, please? Is that everything?
Yes, thank you very much.
That is £12.20.
Whilst living in Russia, I've tried fish and chips, but it's nothing like the real deal. Got some people watching me here, but let's give it a try. This is what I've missed from home. Every single day that I'm away from England, I just want to go to a chippy. If you look at it, the chips are slightly different, so it's not like a fry. Russians I speak to basically just think it's a fry. But no. Proper thick cut chips. Normally fish and chips is much better at the seaside, but seeing as this place has a bit of a seaside vibe, the chips are pretty good. You basically just have to douse, like legit fish and chips in a bunch of vinegar and a bunch of salt. This doesn't have much of anything on it, but it's still pretty nice. I think after that walk we've definitely earned this, but I do need to hurry up and decide, is this going to be a one-day journey or a two-day journey? If we break up this fish here, you see it's all oily. That's how it's got to be. Not the healthiest, but the tastiest. And that's good. So I think I'm going to try and go to the next destination, and then we'll decide if it's going to be a two-day journey, because I'm not really sure if there's anywhere that I'd like to stay here. The Peak District Mining Museum. Now, whilst I'm sure that all of you would love me to pay £16 to go and learn about lead mining, but today that's not possible. I need to find a bus to the town of Bakewell, up in the middle of the Peak District. So let's go and see whether that bus is available right now. So it turns out this bus stop is closed, and the closest one is in Matlock. The one where we were before. Well, it's just the Tuesday the 17th. So is it still working? I have no idea. I hope we'll actually be able to stop here, because otherwise I'm done for. We do have one of these fancy signs up here saying that to Bakewell it will be in 16 minutes. Hopefully that's right. So I'll just wait in this very nice little bus stop. We'll sit patiently, wait and see. You're right. I was only going to Matlock. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's all right, mate. Well, that's great, isn't it? Now that other bus that was supposed to go up to Buxton and Bakewell is showing that it's not there now. Are we going to be able to continue this journey? I really have no idea. Right, do you stop off at Bakewell? Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. So we've just arrived in the beautiful town of Bakewell, the only town that sits actually inside the Peak District National Park. I've never actually been here, but I've always wanted to. And we can just see there in the distance, it looks absolutely beautiful. I've only seen it in pictures, that I've seen online and in different videos. So actually being able to go and have a look myself, I'm definitely ready for this. If for whatever reason I got rich, I would buy a house in a village like this, or town or whatever. Can you imagine the price of the places here though? Must be absolutely insane. Fat face. I think this shop might be created just for me. Follow me on Telegram and Instagram if you want to see pictures like these. Bakewell, I think, is just a quintessential little English town. A little quaint settlement in the middle of these rolling hills. Look at this place. When I do videos about Russia, I do advise foreigners to visit the churches in Russia because I think they are beautiful. And the same can be said about English churches. For fans of literature, the town of Bakewell was mentioned in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Honestly, I think when I die, I don't need to go to heaven, because I was already born in it. I'm honestly just wandering about, taking random turns, because everywhere I'm going is beautiful. I've not come across something even slightly ugly at the time that I've been in Bakewell. This here might be the only ugly thing in this town. Whilst I do indeed love my life in Russia, it's coming to places like this that make me, brings back that homesickness despite being back at home, if that makes sense at all to any of you. Just, if situations changed, I could have been starting my life here with my wife. If we were rich, we could buy one of these nice houses, have children, start a family. Oh well, that's life, isn't it? I'm just walking around almost in silence. I'm just genuinely in awe at this place. As I said earlier in the video, I did go to Matlock Bath quite a lot as a child, and then I did some work in Matlock, but I never came this far up to places like here. So it's a new adventure for me as much as it is for you lot. There's some ducks up here. Meeting the locals. This place, especially with the sun shining like it is, does just feel like walking through a fairy tale. I almost want to just get lost in here for a day. So over here, Buxton is our final destination. But before we go, I have to try out something which this town is most famous for.
Bakewell is most famous for the Bakewell pudding, a jam pastry with a filling enriched with egg and ground almonds. The story goes that it was created by accident when a cook for what's now known as the Rutland Arms Hotel spread the eggs and almond paste on top of the jam instead of mixing it into the pastry.
So there are 3 places in Bakewell that claim to be where the original Bakewell tart is from, and this is one of them. So we're going to go in, give it a try, have a look around.
The most famous variant of this is the Bakewell Tart, which is just a Bakewell pudding covered in icing and topped with a cherry. Small versions are sold across the nation by Mr. Kipling, a famous confectionery company.
I have just spent a fortune on cakes and tea. So how about we go and try them out, shall we? So we've got an ice Bakewell tart and the original Bakewell pudding, if this is the original. I mean, it's big, but is it worth the money that I paid for it? I don't know. For me, it'd probably be nicer with a knife and fork. But I think I prefer Bakewell tarts. They're what I personally associate with Bakewell. But it was alright. Not really worth what I paid, but tastes good. Here we are, ice Bakewell tart. That's where it's at. But it's not actually that much different in taste to like Mr. Kipling. So it'd just probably be easier and cheaper to get one of those.
So that's the end of day 1. I decided that it needs to be a 2-day journey to show you this county properly. Therefore, if part 2 has already been uploaded, then you can watch it right here. And if it hasn't, then you can watch the other amazing videos available on this channel. That's all for today then. Ta-ra!